Did you know that a well-executed fight scene can boost the emotional impact of your story by 25%? In movies, action scenes often account for up to 50% of a film's box office success. That's how powerful a good fight can be. But what makes a fight scene stand out from the rest? It's not just about punches and kicks. It's about building tension, crafting emotional depth, and using the environment to your advantage. In this guide, we'll break down how to write a fight scene that leaves a lasting impression. From creating tension before the first punch lands, to using unique combat styles, and showing the emotional toll afterward, we'll show you the strategies that make a fight unforgettable. So, are you ready to turn your action scenes into something truly special? Let's dive in and explore the hidden tricks that the best storytellers use to make their fight scenes shine. Chapter 1: The Art of Tension. Building the pre-fight drama. A great fight scene begins long before the first punch is thrown. The most powerful fights are not just physical, they are emotionally charged. Building tension between your characters, their motivations, and the stakes of the fight is key. The reader or viewer needs to care about the outcome. You need to make them feel the impending clash. The moment before a fight is often more gripping than the fight itself. Think about the build-up in movies like The Dark Knight, where Batman and the Joker play a deadly game of cat and mouse before their confrontation. In these moments, it's not just the physical skill that's important, it's the emotional intensity. That's what keeps the audience on the edge of their seat. Create that tension with dialogue, body language, and inner monologue. Characters should be wrestling with their emotions. Are they fearful? Angry? Desperate? This internal conflict can mirror the external one. A character who is mentally prepared for battle, or one who is conflicted, makes the fight far more engaging. Setting also plays a crucial role. The atmosphere surrounding the fight can increase its tension. A dark alley with the distant sound of sirens creates a different mood than an open arena. Consider how the setting reflects your character's state of mind. You can also introduce small details that signal an approaching clash. In The Hunger Games, Katniss's preparation for battle is filled with small, tense moments, the snapping of an arrow, the quiet before a storm. These moments amplify the eventual action. Building emotional stakes is not just about the character's physical survival, it's about what's at risk emotionally. A hero fighting to protect a loved one has more weight than a random encounter. The personal stakes elevate the conflict. Remember, the fight should feel like the culmination of everything that's come before it. It should feel earned, not random. This strategy ensures that when the fight finally erupts, the audience feels the impact. Chapter 2: Pacing the punches. Rhythm in combat. Once the stage is set, pacing becomes critical. A fight scene is like a musical composition. It has to have a rhythm. If you don't vary the tempo, the scene can become monotonous. Start slow. Allow the tension to grow. In Mad Max: Fury Road, the first half of the film is filled with high-intensity moments, but it's balanced with quieter scenes that give the audience a chance to breathe. Similarly, in a fight, slowing things down can make the moments of action feel even more powerful. The rhythm can also shift based on the character. A seasoned fighter may move with precision and control, while a rookie may be more erratic. Each character's style should inform the pacing. A useful trick is to slow down key moments. The moment a punch lands or a weapon is drawn, slow it down to increase its impact. Think of the iconic slow-motion scenes in The Matrix. The moment when Neo dodges the bullets or fights Agent Smith feels more intense because of how the action is framed. Conversely, during high-energy moments, you want to pick up the pace. Short, snappy sentences can mirror fast-paced action. In the book The Hunger Games, Collins writes the action in quick bursts. I lunge. He's quick. I miss. This style mirrors the unpredictability of a real fight. Varying pace also means knowing when to give the audience a breather. Just like in real combat, fights have moments of recovery. These pauses allow characters to reassess, rethink, or catch their breath. But don't let these pauses drag on. Keep the momentum going. You should also think about the rhythm of the fight in relation to the emotional journey of the characters. A lull in action can reflect a shift in a character's state of mind. Maybe they're gaining confidence or feeling fear. When this internal shift happens, the rhythm of the fight should reflect it. Finally, think about the way the action feels physically. Are the punches slow and heavy? Or fast and light? Each type of strike should be represented by its own rhythm. Chapter 3: Fight Style Fusion. Creating unique combat techniques. A great fight scene isn't just about punches and kicks, it's about creating distinct fighting styles that reflect your character's personalities and backgrounds. Why should every fight feel the same? In Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, the characters' martial arts are influenced by their history and emotions. Each fighter's style reflects their inner world. For example, the character of Li Mu Bai is graceful and controlled, showing his calm and disciplined nature. Meanwhile, Jen's wild, passionate fighting style mirrors her rebellious spirit. Your character's backgrounds and personality should dictate their fighting style. Is your character a trained boxer? A street fighter? A mystic who uses elemental powers? Each fighting style brings a new layer to the scene. Consider blending different styles to create something unique. In the John Wick series, Keanu Reeves's character doesn't just use one combat style. He blends Krav Maga, Judo, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This fusion makes the fight choreography feel fresh and unpredictable. It's important to show how each character's skills affect their approach to combat. A boxer might throw quick, powerful punches, while a grappler might focus on getting their opponent to the ground. The more you emphasize their training and mindset, the more grounded the fight feels. Also, remember the element of surprise. If your character is highly trained in one form of combat, perhaps they surprise their opponent by using an unexpected move. This keeps the fight unpredictable and exciting. Even if the character is not a professional fighter, they can still use creative or unorthodox techniques. Maybe they use their surroundings, a broken chair, a thrown object, or even their own clothing. In The Bourne Identity, Matt Damon's character uses anything around him as a weapon. This approach makes the fights feel more organic. By mixing different fight styles, you can also give each fight scene its own flavor. A character who uses speed and agility will have a different rhythm than one who relies on brute force. These distinctions make your fight scene stand out and keep your audience engaged. Ultimately, a well-crafted fight scene is a choreography of character, technique, and emotion. Combining all three will elevate your story and leave a lasting impact on your audience. If you enjoyed these tips on creating fight scenes, don't forget to subscribe to get more insights on writing dynamic and engaging stories. Chapter 4: Beyond the Fists. The power of environment in fight scenes. A fight scene isn't just about the fighters, it's about the environment that surrounds them. The setting can make or break a fight, adding layers of complexity and intensity. Imagine a fight in a narrow hallway versus an open battlefield. The two settings will affect the character's movements and decisions in drastically different ways. In Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino uses environment strategically. The battle in the House of Blue Leaves takes place in a wide, open space, allowing for fluid, dynamic combat. In contrast, the fight between Beatrix Kiddo and Elle Driver takes place in a small, cramped area, making each movement feel more claustrophobic and personal. Your choice of setting will impact the pacing and style of the fight. Urban landscapes may offer opportunities to use the environment, like dumpsters, fire escapes, or parked cars, as weapons or obstacles. On the other hand, natural settings, like forests or mountain ranges, may lead to different strategies, like using terrain for stealth or using the environment to block attacks. A fight in a confined space, like an elevator or a small room, will feel much more intense. This is the catfight in a phone booth feeling. Everything is tight and intense, forcing both fighters to adapt quickly. Just like in The Raid, where every corner turns into a deadly encounter, the environment itself can be a character in the story. You can also use environmental details to heighten tension. Rain, mud, or snow can make combat more challenging, adding a layer of struggle. In the final battle of the Revenant, the harsh, freezing environment influences the fight, showing how nature itself can be a force to reckon with. Also, think about how the environment reflects the stakes of the fight. If the fight is happening in a desolate, abandoned location, it might symbolize the isolation or desperation of the characters involved. Conversely, a more vibrant setting may reflect a larger, more epic conflict, showing that the stakes are higher than personal revenge. The environment can also offer moments of surprise. A character could stumble upon a hidden weapon or use a feature of the surroundings to outsmart their opponent. In The Dark Knight, Batman uses the Gotham skyline to his advantage during his rooftop chase. It's not just about fighting, it's about using the world around you to gain an edge. Never forget the sensory impact of a fight's location. The sounds, smells, and sights of the environment can immerse the reader or viewer in the moment. The creaking of a wooden floor, the smell of gasoline, or the bright lights flashing can all influence how a fight scene feels. For more tips on using the environment to create unforgettable fight scenes, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Chapter 5, The Dance of Impact. Writing every blow with precision in a fight scene, each blow should feel meaningful. The way you write the action will dictate how impactful it feels. A punch that is described as hard can be good, but a punch that crashes into the ribs with a sickening crack is far more visceral. Think about the physicality of every hit. The force of a blow isn't just about the strength of the character, it's about the result of the action. How does the body react? Does the opponent stagger? Does their body jerk back? Describing the impact in a way that your reader can feel makes the fight far more intense. In The Hunger Games, Suzanne Collins uses sharp, precise language to describe the blows. For example, she describes a punch as a sharp jab that sends my head jerking back, which immediately gives a sense of the force and physicality involved. This creates a feeling of realism in the fight, making each strike feel important. Focus on the details of the impact. Don't just describe the blow, describe the effect on the body. The way a character's skin breaks, how their muscles stretch and tear, or how they stumble after a hit adds depth to the action. It's also important to vary the descriptions. A punch to the face might be described as slamming or thunderous, while a punch to the stomach might feel more like wind leaving the lungs. Changing the way each impact is phrased can keep the fight from feeling repetitive. Every punch doesn't need to land perfectly. In fact, a near miss can create even more excitement. Writing moments where characters just barely avoid a hit can make the reader feel the tension in a fight. A grazed shoulder or a near miss with a knife can add more intensity than a perfectly executed strike. Another tactic is to describe the sounds of a fight. The crack of a bone, the thud of a punch, or the hiss of a breath can enhance the scene's impact. The Bourne Identity uses sound effectively to emphasize the brutality of its fight scenes. The snap of a neck or the thud of a punch amplifies the drama. By focusing on the sensory experience of the fight, you bring the reader into the heart of the action. You're not just telling them what happens, you're letting them feel it. This connection is what makes a fight scene memorable and impactful. Chapter 6, The Aftermath. Emotional fallout of a battle. Once the fight is over, the emotional consequences are just as important as the battle itself. A fight scene that ends with the victor simply walking away misses an opportunity to deepen the story. The aftermath is where the true emotional fallout occurs. In Gladiator, the final battle is epic, but the aftermath is where the emotional punch lies. Maximus is physically victorious, but the cost to his soul is clear. His emotional journey after the fight shapes the rest of his story. Similarly, in any good fight scene, the toll on the character, physically, mentally, and emotionally, is critical to the story's progression. After a fight, characters will often deal with pain, regret, or victory in different ways. How do they react to their injuries? Are they proud of their victory, or do they feel hollow inside? These moments help humanize the characters and make them relatable to the audience. Physical scars are easy to describe, but emotional scars are what make a fight truly impactful. Did a character lose something in the fight, an ally, their sense of self, or their trust in others? These are the kinds of consequences that matter long after the action is over. Consider how the character's perception of the fight shifts. A moment of intense triumph can lead to feelings of emptiness afterward. In The Karate Kid, Daniel wins the fight, but the emotional cost of the struggle, facing his own insecurities and the cruelty of his opponent, becomes the real turning point. Another factor to think about is how the outcome of the fight affects the characters' relationships. Does the fight bring them closer to someone? Or does it push them away? Maybe a loved one disapproves of their actions. The aftermath of a fight scene can set the stage for new conflicts or growth in relationships. The aftermath can also involve healing, physically and emotionally. A character may need time to recover, or they may have to reconcile with what they've done. This adds layers to the narrative, showing that fighting is not just about violence, it's about what comes afterward. In many stories, the aftermath of a fight opens up new opportunities for growth. Perhaps a character who was once naive about the reality of violence now has a deeper understanding. Or, maybe they find redemption in the aftermath of the violence, deciding to change their ways. Ultimately, the aftermath is where the real story begins. The fight might be over, but the emotional journey is just starting. How your characters handle this fallout will define their journey and give your fight scene a lasting impact. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to subscribe for more tips on writing powerful scenes and unforgettable stories.